meeting of the joint meeting of City Council and Board of Finance to order. I ask if you're able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The mayor has asked me to take care of this meeting today. She's having a little problem with her voice, and she wants to save it for city council, so we will do that. So the first thing, I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes from February 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Next, we have the consent agenda. Does anyone want to pull anything out of the consent agenda to discuss? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Fourth on the agenda is I'll accept a motion to transfer $12,495 within the comptroller's office with $6,515 from the general fund contingency account.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Next, accept a motion to transfer $230,000 within the Public Works snow operating budget with $200,000 from the general fund contingency account.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Next, for the fifth on the agenda is the Equipment Building Sinking Fund. I'll accept a motion to transfer $256,000 from the general fund contingency account to the Equipment Building Sinking Fund for the BOE to purchase Chromebooks in the current year.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Next on the agenda, we have a motion to make an additional appropriation of $600,000 and transfer of $368,295 within the Capital Projects Fund for Page Park revitalization.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Peter, do you have the next resolution?
I don't, so you'll have to read it.
Oh, okay. Well, I have it right here for
Okay. To approve a resolution appropriating $600,000 for the revitalization of Page Park, to waive the reading of said resolution and the full text of the resolution as presented at this meeting, and to incorporate it into and made a part of the minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? As this is a resolution, we have a roll call.
Commissioner Campion,
Yes.
Commissioner Tagarello,
Yes.
Commissioner Maikowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazzarelli,
Yes.
Commissioner Murdoch,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Yes.
Did I miss any commissioners online? No, okay.
Peterson, Mark Peterson?
Is he on?
Yes, he's still.
Okay. Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Dickow,
Yes.
Councilmember Hahn,
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Rosengren,
Yes.
Councilmember Seymour,
Yes.
Councilmember Tyler,
Yes.
and the mayor.
Okay, resolution passes. Mark, do you have the next resolution?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing
the issuance of bonds or notes in the aggregate amount of $10,650,000 to finance an appropriation for the revitalization of Page Park, to waive the reading of said resolution and the full text of the resolution as presented at this meeting, and to incorporate it into and made part of the minutes of this meeting.
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Again, another roll call.
Commissioners Campion,
Yes.
Bagarello,
Yes.
Mykowski,
Yes.
Mazzarelli,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
council members, Dickow,
Yes.
Hahn,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Rosengren,
Yes.
Seymour,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Mayor Ellen.
Resolution passes. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we'll have the monthly report from Comptroller and Assessor.
Hi, so in the essence of time, I will be short to see if there are any questions that anybody has on the report. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, monitoring the revenues. I will say, I know last year we had significant revenue surpluses, particularly in some tax revenues, investment income, conveyance fees, and building permits. Looking at the projections right now, I don't think we're going to have anything to that magnitude. While building permit fees and conveyance fees right now are approaching, well, conveyance fees are 140%, building permit is 94%, it will not reach the levels that we did last year. We had significant surpluses last year, and especially in investment income also. Investment income is projected at 2.6 million, and we have 2.2 million budgeted. I think last year we hit 3 million for investment income. Nothing out of line with the tax revenues, and on the expenditure side, you did appropriate funding tonight for the snow removal costs, and then hopefully we're done with snow. And then the Board of Ed, we are watching. We have received notice that they anticipate being about 3.4 million over. So I will take that into consideration as we're working on the budget and as we're looking at year-end projections, where those funds will come from, should it come to fruition. Budget meetings, we're in the middle of them right now. I don't know if the council is aware of this, but the March 16th meeting, we were going to have the Board of Ed at that meeting presenting, and we actually flip-flopped it to March 24th at 6. And then all of the other ancillary budgets, capital improvement plan, employee benefits, water and sewer will be on the 16th on Monday at 5. Just so you know what that change. But if there are no questions, or does anybody have any questions on the financial report? If not, usually at this meeting, I will turn it over to the assessor, Tom Denote, to kind of go through the grand list, so you know what to expect as we develop next year's budget. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tom.
Good evening, everyone. I distributed a handout. It looks like this. Just want to make sure you all have it. No problem. So last year, we had very minimal growth. This year, I'm happy to at least announce initially, we had grand list growth net on the net side of about 90 million. The grand list was signed January 28th, 2026. The net grand list is just over 5.6. Of that net assessment change, about 49 million was in personal property, 29 million was in real estate, and motor vehicle was up 11 million. And if you remember, the October 1st regular grand list as of 2024 implemented the new statute. And that created the depreciation schedule where we now utilize a straight line depreciation schedule. Assessment increase notices were also out in the mail at that time, And unfortunately, we got a call from Eversource and Yankee Gas that incorrect depreciation code levels were used on their personal property rendering. So we had to make an adjustment of 22.2 million. And then in addition to that, there were manufacturers who had completed only part of their M65 program documentation. And they were afforded the right to come in and amend their actual filings, and that totaled about 3.7 million. So that's where you're seeing an adjustment to the grand list. And generally, this is all operating in the background, and only because of the significant Eversource and Yankee Gas, I immediately contacted Mayor Ellen and Diane and told them what was happening, and we're restructuring, obviously, the way the grand list is being reported to account for that within the budgetary process. Real estate is down about 1.6 million since the signing, and that's primarily due to the new initiative that was established through our local option veterans exemption program. And then similarly, in motor vehicles, the veterans exemption and routine certificates of correction have decreased that grand list by about 1.4 million. So overall, the net grand list has been reduced by 29 million. So rather than the 90 million original increase in net assessment, we're actually showing about 61.1 million. So roughly, if we use the current mill rates, we're in the $2 million additional revenue zone. So at least we're not taking money away, but we're still adding money to the overall budget process. Any questions on any of that so far? Okay, so page 2, personal property. We definitely have some highlights, and even though we had to make that adjustment to Yankee Gas and Eversource, if you go over about 3/4 to the right side of the page, you'll see the net change where Yankee Gas, all that construction that went on throughout 2024 and 2025, where roads were pretty much torn up in the Federal Hill area and over off of Lewis Street. 13.7 million is in those new transmission lines, and then also for Eversource, about 1.7 million. So overall, 15.5 million roughly is an increase in their personal property net assessment. Just to also highlight how much movement happened in this grand list, and of course, ESPN, ABC, American Broadcasting Company, and Disney. We had a bell go off when we saw that ABC actually had terminated a lease with DTCI Technology to the tune of 36.2 million. So that has, as you can see, with a $29 million decrease in the net grand list, it has a large impact on our revenue. Ultimately, in addition to that, ESPN also had a reduction to their net grand list of 18.8 million. But fortunately, Disney Streaming Tech showed a $53 million increase. So the net effect is about a $2 million decrease to one taxpayer in reported assets. So there's a lot of activity going on over there. I also note that they purchased Major League Baseball Network and the NFL Network. So I don't know if that will have any impact on Bristol and how they shuffle the deck on where employees will or will not operate out of. Hopefully it's Bristol. Other players in the personal property realm are D'Amato Construction, 1.1 million roughly in new asset acquisitions. ProHealth Physicians, the new facility on Farmington Avenue, just over $1 million. The Platinum Express Car Wash, also on the same property, roughly $500,000. And then the new Hibachi Buffet, surprisingly $650,000 in net assessment increase. So on to page 3. I pretty much think each year that the city of Bristol is fully built out, but that yellow set of boxes that you can see at the top of the page show that we have 40 active projects, mainly condominium and residential, but you'll see below the commercial and industrial properties that are adding to the grand list. But overall, for 40 construction projects, we have just under 22 million in value and roughly 15 million in assessment. But I don't know if the mayor remembers, but your first administration, right out of the gate, I remember in one of our discussions, she asked me, she said, "What's the most underutilized parcel in the city of Bristol?" And I said, "The Mahana Farm." And if, now it has the Pro Health physicians on it, the Platinum Car Wash and Chick-fil-A. Immediately, I think it was within a very short period of time, maybe about a week, we had the farm owners in a conference room and Justin Malley in a conference room and their realtor, and immediately started discussing what the uphill challenges were in developing that parcel and getting a good investment for the city of Bristol and for them as owners of the property so they could sell it. And ultimately, it's great to be able to report here today that including that roughly $1.1 million in net assessment for the personal property, we have an additional $10 million in gross assessment, and we only have the Chick-fil-A at 50% complete. So that was definitely a huge home run. And as you can see on the 2023 grand list, we only had $159,000 assessment on that property. So a very quick turnaround and a great approach on how city resources can really be pooled together and get something off the ground and have an impact to our net grand list. 300 Broad Street, boy, I'll tell you, I was driving the city looking at building permits, and I came across this oasis. It's the former Tice property, brownfield redevelopment program through the governor's office, and they have Trump in there as a tenant, leasing 167,000 square feet as inventory storage. They aren't doing any manufacturing out of there, but it's an impressive project. If you have an opportunity to go out there and tour the facilities, I saw it last September. I'm sure they've made additional progress, and I believe they have a 250, if not better, 1,000 square foot expansion project that they took all the windows out. They had everything down to bare studs. But this year, based on the new occupancy of that 167,000 square feet, added 1.1 million to the net grand list. We're finally full with certificates of occupancy on our DoubleTree Home 2 suites and the convention center. And that also added an additional just under $1 million. And then a brand new warehouse building that's going up on Lake Avenue that was partially complete for October 1st has added about $500,000 to the net grand list. So the final page, page 4, just want to show you what the impact of that new legislation has to a certain degree on our motor vehicle grand list. So as you can see in that upper left column, 2025 and 2026 manufacturer year vehicle purchases. These are new to the grand list, so they weren't on the 2024 grand list, but they appear on the 2025 grand list. There are just under 1,600 vehicles. They have a depreciated value from MSRP of 54 million and a net assessment of 34.8 million. 2024 manufacturer year, same situation, not on the 24 grand list, but they show up on the 25 grand list, roughly 700 vehicles, 22.4 million in depreciated MSRP and 15.7 million in assessed value. So over $50 million in assessment that could have been added to the grand list. But from page 1, I just recopied that chart basis for motor vehicles. And you can see that after applying all of the depreciated values, we're currently in that straight line depreciation model for manufacturer's suggested retail price. Our grand list on the motor vehicle side only increased 2%, or roughly over 10 million. So there's a lot of value that, and I understand it. I mean, it's a nuisance tax. It creates a lot of complaints at the assessor's desk and amongst the community, but it has a big impact on what municipalities can generate in revenue. And it's just part of the law that was established at the state level, and it's something that all municipalities have to abide by. But that's just a snapshot of the impact that it had here for our community. And any questions?
Any questions? Thank you very much. Moving on, do we have any other matter to come before the board? Ellen?
I just wanted to update the joint committee because we have not had the opportunity to talk about the fact that we've been having discussions with the owner of Chippenny Golf Club about the possible acquisition of the golf club, as opposed to having it go down the road of a housing development. So what I wanted to do tonight is just briefly update you to let you know that I actually had a conversation with some of the owner's associates today. We have 2 motions on tonight's agenda, council agenda, to authorize me to do a letter of intent and also to start making the necessary referrals to the Planning Commission, to the Parks Commission, and start doing that due diligence. Usually these types of negotiations are private, but when you have a public partner, as we would be, there does have to be transparency. This actually was reviewed by the Capital Improvement Project Committee over the course of the last couple of weeks, and it is as a placeholder on our bonded column. So depending on how the outcome comes, we would be moving forward with this, hopefully, once we receive our appraisal back from the person with whom we've contracted in order to set that value. So I just wanted to make everybody aware that that is actually something that is moving forward as a conceptual issue at this point in time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other matter to come before the board? Hearing none?
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. We are adjourned.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to our March City Council meeting. We're going to start with opening ceremonies, and I'd like to first ask for those who are able to please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I would like to ask for the council members to please introduce themselves, starting on my far right.
Aaron Rosengren, City Council, District 1.
Sue Tyler, City Council, District 2.
Steve Seymour, City Council, District 3.
Greg Hahn, District 1.
Peter Kelly, District 2.
Mark Pickow, District 3.
And to our far left, we have our city clerk and assistant city clerk. I'd like to welcome Erica back from her vacation and thank Marina for her service during that absence. And to our right, we have our Office of Corporation Counsel. Thank you for being with us. The first program tonight is the recognition of our community members who came forward and helped us clear hydrants after our second significant storm. So before we present our certificates and prizes to the winners, I'd like to ask Chief Hart and Deputy Chief Correll to come forward and just briefly preview the program.
Thank you, Mayor. So in light of all the snow that we've gotten this year, in conjunction with the mayor's office, she came up with the initiative to do a hydrant hero program where residents were asked to shovel their hydrants, take a before picture and an after picture of their hydrant in front of their house or on their street, shovel it out and then take that after picture to show how important it is for the community to get involved and clear the hydrants when we had such a large amount of snow. So with that, I'd like to recognize the participants that have been awarded $50 gift cards and a certificate from the mayor's office.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask, as we call the names, those who were selected to win recognition through our drawing can come up, and we can ask the chief and deputy chief to come here, and I'm going to ask Taryn to come take pictures. We're going to do this by council district. So we'll start with, let's see, are your people here, Councilman Dickow?
I don't know.
Can you ask?
Is Mike LaRoque here?
Mike LaRoque. Okay, moving on to Councilman Kelly.
Yes, yes. I do see the Darcys here.
Okay, well, then you can introduce them and come forward and give them their prize.
Absolutely. This recognition is for Matthew, Genevieve, and Paige Darcy, that it was a family affair. And thank you for your help shoveling the hydrant.
The card, but.
Now you guys.
We got you each a challenge coin and a Bristol Fire Department badge. Thank you so much. Thank you. Nice job.
Councilman Hahn.
Is Terry Roach here? Hello, Terry.
There you are.
Thank you so much.
All right, do we have Theo, Marley, Matilda, and Carlo Arias here? There.
Hi, guys. There you go. Thank you so much for doing this. Congratulations. 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 You can step over and take a picture.
Oh, thank you. Okay, no, bud. Thanks.
So back to District 2, I see Landon and Macy Hopkins. We meet twice in 1 week, Miss Macy. Congratulations, good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is Kevin and Jill Thompson here? Don't see anybody. No.
And then our last one was Kanan Khalis, who actually did, I think, 8 hydrants.
Whoa.
So we will get his prize to him as well. So this was a collaborative effort between the mayor's office, the fire department, and the water and sewer department, because a little known fact is that it's the water department that goes out and shovels the hydrants when we have a big storm. So we did not create this program. This was a suggestion from somebody in our community who saw this in another town and thought it would be cool to do here. So we did what I like to call creative swiping, where we steal that idea and we bring it to Bristol. So to wrap up, what everybody should know is that across the city, on East Road, on Lakeside Drive, on Vera Road, Hill Street, Jacqueline Drive, Linwood Street, and on Patricia Drive, we had committee members there and also throughout the city who did not participate in this particular contest, work just to make our city a little safer for after that storm. So on behalf of all of us here, the fire department and the water and sewer department, thank you for everybody that did what we asked them to do and cleared those hydrants. Thank you. This week is also what we celebrate nationally as Civic Engagement Week, so it's a great tie-in for what we have seen here tonight for people improving the quality of life in their community. And I wanted to just make a quick connection between the hydrants program and everything that we've been working on here. Every night in this building, there are meetings that occur, whether they're land use meetings or budget meetings or other types of meetings, and those committees are run by community volunteers that do not get paid but contribute their time and talent to serve on boards and commissions. We also have a lot of people who call and ask questions. I know that there's one coming tonight because I see members of the Hoppers Birch Pond here who are here to make a request on the Conservation Commission concept. That is what self-governance is, and that's what democracy is. And I did want to take a minute because when we are in the throes of a budget season, it's really easy for people to become very wrapped up in social media. And social media is a great way to learn about information and stay apprised. I'm looking at the Bristol City website and agenda center where every single meeting, minutes, media files, everything's attached. There are so many benefits to it. But unfortunately, in today's society, we are now relying upon the headline as opposed to the article in order to get our news. And recently there was an article in one of the local newspapers that said Bristol was going to have a 14% budget increase. That was a correct headline based on that moment in time in January when we started our budget process and all the departments came forward with their, what I like to term, wish lists. Everything that they felt they needed from a resource point, contractual obligations, personnel, in order to run their departments. Clearly, if you read the article went on to explain that there's several pieces to the budget process, including the fact that we have internal meetings with department heads, we move forward with budget workshops with the Board of Finance, there are public hearings on budgets, and at the end of the day, that percentage probably is going to get whittled down significantly. On the city side, we are already down to about a 2.5% increase. On the Board of Ed side, they are still hard at work. So at this point, I would just like to ask that everyone take a moment to think about the most high quality way that you can engage and actually help others engage who may not understand exactly what's at stake. At every point today, there's thoughtful discussions going on in this building, and it's those types of discussions that actually can be a little bit boring. Stormwater management, budget, technology discussions that actually frame what we do so that when people wake up in the morning, their toilets work, their water runs, their streets are clean, and their communities are safe. So be careful of the click headlines, and thank you for being here tonight, and encourage those in your circle to participate as well, whether it's on a board or commission or coming to a meeting or just in general, being aware of what's happening and decisions that are being made on your behalf. I'd like to ask now for an approval of the minutes from the regular city council meeting held on February 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections or clarifications? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Before we get to public participation, of which we have several guests here to talk to us about a variety of issues, I was hoping that the council would indulge with moving up items 12, resignations and appointments, 13A, because we do have members here with us tonight that are being appointed, and I thought it might be more appropriate, instead of them sitting through the meetings, that we could just do that now.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the motion to move to first item 12 and then 13A has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Will the city clerk please read the resignations for this month?
Okay, we have Zachary Fisk from the Inland Wetlands Commission, Leonard Lamoth from the Board of Park Commissioners, Keith Elder from the Bristol Historic District Commission, Ryan Bodley, and he was from the Stormwater Trust Commission, George Irving from the Commission on Aging.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to accept, place on file, and send a letter of thanks?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? I would just like to note that Zachary Fisk served for almost 25 years on the Inland Wetlands Commission, which is no easy feat, and I'd like to especially thank him for his dedication to what is a very difficult and technical board. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Continuing vacancies that we have right now for the City of Bristol is an alternate position representing tenants on the Fair Rent Commission, as well as a vacancy on the Parks Commission, for which we are still doing interviews. So moving on to the actual appointments tonight, I'd like to make an appointment to Jonathan Bradley, who's an unaffiliated voter, to replace Leonard Lamoth for a term expiring in December of 2027 to the Board of Park Commissioners. He is a employee of Eversource with a background in leadership, operations, and safety, as well as budgeting and team coordination, and he's also a veteran, so I think he will be a great addition to the Parks Commission.
Move to accept?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next name I'd like to bring forward is that of Julie Metzroth. She and her husband and young son are residents of Federal Hill. She is also being appointed to the Parks Commission to replace Celia Garay, who we moved over to Youth Commission. Julie is a Democrat. She is replacing Cecilia, who is a Democrat, with a term to December of 28. Most recently, Julie was a head of sponsorship and marketing partnerships for Maria Shriver's media company. She has previously worked at ESPN. She actually was part of the Parks and Recreation tennis program, and she is going to be a great addition, especially for the fund development component of what we're trying to accomplish at the Parks Commission. So is there a motion?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to then bring forward the name of Greg Klimick, who is a Republican alternate member on the Inland Wetlands Commission, to be promoted to a regular slot, replacing Zachary Fisk, who is resigned prior to the end of his term, which would have been this May.
So move.
Second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And now, in order to replace Greg in that alternate slot, I'd like to bring forward the name of Erica Jarboe as an alternate with a term ending in May of 2027. He is a licensed professional civil engineer who works in the transportation sector. I believe Eric is with us tonight. Stand and say hello. Thank you for volunteering, Eric.
So move.
Motion, second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New appointments for March. I'd like to make a motion to reappoint those from the Commission on Aging whose appointments have come due this month. They are Ellen McCusker, Hillary Zibikowski, Kathy Duck, all for terms to March of 2029.
So moved.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, we also have a vacancy due to illness, so I'd like to further make an appointment of Frank Parananse, a Democrat, to replace George Irving, unaffiliated voter who resigned. That term is to March of 27.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, we have 2 appointments to the Board of Ethics. I'm going to ask that this first name be nominated by a member of District 1. and the name is John Belmare, to be reappointed to a term to March of '29.
Move to accept.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. The next must be nominated by a member of District 2, and is to reappoint Bruce Barton, a Republican, for a term to March of '29.
Move to accept.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'd like to appoint Janelle Santolo, an unaffiliated voter, as a parent ambassador to the Bristol Early Childhood Collaborative for a one-year term through August of 2026.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Also, we need to fill the Stormwater Trust Commission, which meets quarterly. I have asked Michael Dumas, who serves on the Public Works Board, to also be the liaison to Stormwater Trust. That term will run through March of 2029.
So move. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And last, I'd like to thank Greg for serving as acting mayor for the first 4 months of our term, and his term ends tonight and had a very fun ending. He was called down for a lot of duties over the last 4 days. And tonight, I'd like to place the name of Eric Rosengren into nomination to serve as acting mayor from tomorrow through July 14th. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. For those of you who may be in the audience and have just been appointed or are listening online, your next step is to be sworn in by the assistant clerk or the city clerk, and maybe we can multitask, and if anybody's here, they can come over to the side, and you can get that done. So thank you. Moving on, we are going to start with public participation. The first person who is signed up is Jackie McCauley to discuss vape shops. And for those of you who may be joining us for the first time, we have a strict 3-minute rule for public participation. Thank you.
Jackie McCauley, 19 Spring Street. I'm here to talk about the vape shops. I'm very concerned. I've noticed we have quite a few coming into Bristol, and you just can't miss them with those bright lights that are like a beacon, those LED lights. And they go into the night. Sometimes they're left on all the time. And I live up the street from one, and the parking is ridiculous. They double park, and trying to get around on Main Street is crazy. The other thing is, it should be a concern to all of us, because these vape shops are clearly going to attract kids. We also have vaping products that are sold at mini marts and at gas stations, and now we have the vape shops. It seems like it's all over the place, and I thought that years ago we had an ordinance against bright lights like that. I don't know, maybe we didn't, maybe I thought we did, but maybe we should bring that back. It also cheapens the city, looks really horrid. Yeah, that's all I had to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Next on the list is Dr. Tom Ward, also to speak on vape shops.
Hello? Yep, okay. So my name is Dr. Tom Ward. I've been in practice 36 years here in Bristol. I recently retired end of August. I'm not from Bristol, but when I first came here, what impressed me about Bristol was it's a very family-oriented town. And as a pediatrician, I take care of kids, but their families. And I, too, believe that the vape shops, the selling of the vape mechanisms, in this town are not helping our parents protect our kids from addiction of all different kinds. The bright lights are there for a reason, because kids are attracted to lights. So I know we can't get rid of them because that's not our purview. The state has to do that if they want to. But we can somehow create some ordinance or something about what they're selling, how they're selling it, maybe inspection of what they're selling. It's not just the vape shops, it's the gas stations. In my office, the kids will tell you, they're not just selling vape, Dr. Ward. They're not, the kids will tell you straight out, they're not selling you just vape. They know what's there, they know where to get it. and we're fools to not do something about it. So again, I think we need to look at this, put it in whatever committee it is to examine it, put it under the spotlight, and help the parents of Bristol with their families. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ward. Next up is Eric Madsen on Conservation Commission.
Eric Madsen, 70 Oak Hill Drive, Bristol. The Friends of the Hoppers, as an active conservation advocate, is seeking to work with the city to create a standalone Bristol Conservation Commission. A standalone Bristol Conservation Commission would bring expertise and advocacy to the matters of conservation in the city that are currently lacking. A standalone Bristol Conservation Commission could benefit resident quality of life, property values, environmental integrity, and resilience. The Friends of the Hoppers is working to put forth a raft of suitable board candidates for nomination from various backgrounds. The Friends of the Hoppers will amend its bylaws to commit to the ongoing sustainability of a standalone Bristol Conservation Commission. A standalone Bristol Conservation Commission would be a win for the city and show commitment to sustainable growth in the city. This text was sent earlier this evening in an email to the mayor for this meeting record, and also the email includes an outline of general responsibilities for a conservation commission, and there are a lot of things that a standing conservation commission could do. But I thank you for that time, and we'll maintain this dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Question to Corporation Counsel. Our Inland Wetlands Commission currently also sits as the Conservation Commission. What would be a proper referral based on the request from the Hoppers Birch Pond Association?
Say to the ordinance committee would be the right referral.
Okay. Somebody willing to make a referral for this matter, which was, I can forward the email to the ordinance committee.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Eric, you can track that through the ordinance committee. It will hit their agenda for discussion purposes at their April 6th meeting. Thank you. Moving on, we next have Marianne Sorois.
Mary Ann Royce, 362 Shrub Road.
Is it on?
Yeah, I think so.
Green light?
Microphone.
Is the green light on the microphone?
It's on.
Okay.
Want to talk about Shrub Road. Shrub Road has been an ongoing issue since 2022. I got involved in 2024. Shrub Road is a natural narrow road. A narrow road encourages drivers to reduce their speed and be more cautious due to the perceived constraint of the roadway. Shrub Road is also an urban minor arterial. 4,000 vehicles travel through that road per day, according to a 2021 study. In June of 2022, the city received a grant to install sidewalks. In July of 2022, the preliminary engineering drawings were done. In December of 2022, the city introduced a new road project called the Painted Islands. In June of 2024, the sidewalk and the Painted Islands Road project was approved by the Public Works Department. The city was going to widen Shrub Road by 3.5 feet to put in a 4-foot wide painted island for 450 feet in front of the Nature Center and 475 feet in front of Pigeon Hill Field. Painted islands are used to narrow the travel lane on a wide road. The travel lane width of 10 feet remained the same as the original 10 feet. The painted islands were to serve as a visual cue, expecting that drivers would slow down when they saw the painted islands. I told the administration that a radar speed feedback sign would be a better job as a visual cue. It's dynamic. It tells the driver their actual speed. Studies say that they are effective. Its estimated cost to install the sidewalks was $1 million. The cost to widen the road was $2 million, which was being paid for a grant from the state. The previous administration lost the election. I appreciate that Mayor Ellen Sasso was able to remove the painted islands from the project, which will definitely improve the aesthetics. The city did not want to spend any more money on the project. The city still intends to go forward with the road construction. I am asking the city to eliminate the $2 million road construction project. It will save millions of dollars, $2 million. Grants from the state are paid for by the taxpayer money. Sidewalks are not as complicated as roadways. It would take a third of the time to do the sidewalks. 2/3 of the disruption time would be eliminated. Moving the sidewalks 2 or 3 feet to the left on an engineered drawing probably can be done by Bristol engineers. Design work is done. I hope the city will reconsider their decisions. Do I have more time?
No.
Oh,
You're a little bit over, but we let you finish.
next time.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Penny Critchley from Forceville.
Hi, everybody. I'm the speaker, so bear with me. I'm coming here for the meeting in Forceville. We are having terrible problems. There are delays and everything else. I have a fine example. We used to have a party at Max's on Stafford Avenue. My husband was having a problem. I looked at him and he says, I feel like I'm going to pass out. We called an ambulance right away. They're on their way. 20 minutes later, I don't have an ambulance. About 25 minutes later, I still don't have an ambulance. I told the girl, please call them again to see where they are. They're on their way. They got there like 28 minutes after. In that time, my husband had turned gray. He was frothing at the mouth. His tongue was out like a cow, white. When he showed up, the first cop came, and maybe 30 seconds later, the ambulance showed up. They worked on him for maybe 20 minutes. We were watching him literally die. No ambulance. So I got, and somebody said to me, go to the ambulance and sit and go up with them to the hospital. So I did. I opened the door, and the first words out of my mouth were, we need an ambulance in Forceville. I've been listening to this for years, at least 50 years. Everybody would say, we need an ambulance in Bristol. Nothing's been done. So I got in the ambulance and I said to the ambulance person, I says, where were you? You know what he said to me? And I don't think anybody would have thought about it. Our trains years ago, we would have 5 and 6 cars to a train and it would go by. And they're not like Amtrak where they go like this. I sat one day, maybe a month ago, looking at a train and I probably missed maybe 5 or 6 cars. I counted 28. Meantime, the guy said to me, we got stuck coming down because they were up on Terryville Avenue, no less, not the hospital. And they came down and they said they were stuck with the train. So when you see an ambulance, literally you move over to let them by. Everybody was bottle locked. So they had to go around, they had to take a detour, which they did. They came to another problem. They had a construction site, another detour. They had to stop and go around again. Well, they did that, and by the time they finally got there, my husband was just about dead. And I'm saying to myself, if there was an ambulance close enough, I mean, my ambulance he came down with pulmonary fibrosis, so there's no cure for that. So when he doesn't have oxygen, he doesn't have oxygen. I don't care how far up you put it. And it's been maybe 5 or 7 times that the ambulances have to come to the house. Same thing. Where are they? They're on their way. Well, when they come from Terryville all the way to St. Joe's, and I call it the sand pit. And when they come down all the way down, it's almost 6 miles to my house. I'm a stone's throw from Camp Street. We need something in Forceville. We butt Southington now, we butt Plainville, we butt Farmington. We have grown from, let's say, 3,000 to almost 10,000 people in the center of the city. We need help. We really do. It's not funny anymore. We have a lot of old people that live in Forceville, and something's got to be done. I mean, I've heard it from the police department, the fire department, and even EMTs. They need help in Forceville. And I don't think it's fair for those that, need the help and they can't get it. And those of you that have never needed an ambulance, and someday that you do with a serious condition, your life will change forever. It really will. It's not just if somebody has a broken arm and they come. When you see a person that, let's say it could be a child that's not breathing because it ate a candy and you don't have CPR, you're watching that child try to breathe and maybe die because the ambulances aren't there. And I'm just saying, we have maybe 4 of them. We have to do something, and if we can have 1, all we need is 1. And you talk to the hospital, well, they don't work with the city, or the city doesn't work with the hospital. And it's going around in a big circle, and it's got to stop. It really does. Safety is really important for people, not so much the dollar. I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is the Director of the Bristol Burlington Health District, Marco Palmieri.
I brought a lot of visuals. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to share it with you, but thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council, City Clerk's Office, Corp Council, members of the public. I'm the Director of Health of Bristol Burlington Health District, and many of my responsibilities are associated with improving the quality of life of our residents. And one of my biggest passions is assisting the city of Bristol and the town of Burlington with issues that members of the public and members of the City Council present to me, and they're interested in having me work to assist them in addressing these issues. And one of which has been for years the impact of some of our convenience stores, tobacco shops, and most recently with the influx of vape retail shops. And I'm here to tell you that there are issues, and I'm here to assist the city of Bristol, but I'm going to give you some background. So across the United States, public health officials are increasingly examining the impacts of convenience stores, tobacco, and vape retailers that sell regulated, unregulated, underregulated, and high-risk products. An example of some of these products are in my bag, but clearly I don't have enough time to go over them. These businesses are also associated with the broader community impacts, including nuisance complaints, loitering, blight, and crime. In many communities, these stores or clusters of these stores are located in economically vulnerable areas along commercial corridors with heavy foot traffic in close proximity to schools, parks, and in dense residential neighborhoods, further increasing youth and young adult exposure to these products and substances. Local governments increasingly using zoning, licensing, and public health regulations to regulate these types of establishments and to mitigate their adverse impacts on our populations, neighborhoods, and businesses. While I'm pleased to announce that Connecticut finally passed legislation this year prohibiting the sale of some of the most highly addictive and dangerous products that were called gas station drugs, and I have a list of them that were readily available and accessible in Bristol. Unfortunately, I was able to purchase all of these items today and yesterday in stores in Bristol. They were banned as of March 1st, and they are still readily available in many of the stores that we stopped in. In fact, one store employee bragged to my undercover staff that this product is not on the shelves, but I can get it for you. So since these products have flooded Connecticut stores for years, addicting thousands each year, my concerns are that the demand will continue and, like many other banned or restricted products, the allure to the youth and young adults will increase demand, forcing these stores to make the products available covertly, which I already proved today. Furthermore, since there is no regulatory oversight or surprise inspection, the risk of being caught is low. So I am proposing at no cost to the city of Bristol or to the residents that they create an ordinance which requires and authorizes the Bristol Burlington Health District, through my authority, to inspect these establishments and to regulate these establishments, to which the city, through the ordinance, decides what they are required and allowed to do. I will take full responsibility of that role. We would charge the establishments a license fee, would be a nominal fee, and the city council can establish that fee through the ordinance, and would allow us to do unannounced inspections to assure that they meet a standard to which the ordinance dictates. I hope the city
considers not just including vape shops, but including convenience stores and tobacco, because they often sell similar devices and substances. Thank you very much, and if anyone has any questions, I'm available.
Does anybody have any questions?
Through the chair, since a couple of people didn't use full 3 minutes, would you indulge him to have a little extra time? I want to see what's in the back.
So it's surprising what you can find in our convenience stores, tobacco and vape shops. And so has anyone ever heard of non-legend drugs? So non-legend drugs are antihistamines, flu and cold relief, and other over-the-counter drugs. It is required in the state of Connecticut, like many other states, that they have a license obtained by the Department of Consumer Protection. While we have dozens of establishments, mostly the grocery stores and the CVS and some other higher-end convenience stores, most of the other establishments that sell all of these OTC drugs that can be used for other purposes that are not as intended by the FDA, sell these drugs over the counter, some of them in individual packages for people who have an addiction to purchase for a less amount, okay? And we also have nitrous oxide, otherwise known as whippets. This is what typically teens will purchase for about $50. It will get about 30 kids or young adults high at a party. And for an additional $20, you can get a case of the chargers, which are quite simply just recharging with the nitrous oxide and a means for which they can inhale it, okay? They're called whippets, okay? Readily available. Crack pipes and heroin cookers, readily available at each and every single one of these establishments. We have synthetic urine. This is used for folks who are addicted or have a substance use disorder, but also who are applying for or renewing their commercial driver's license, truck drivers, bus drivers, people with heavy equipment, driving vehicles with heavy loads will use this synthetic drug. And in the wintertime or in the cool weather, they wrap it with a hand warmer that comes with a package to make it at body temperature, put it in their pocket. When they go for their drug test with the urine, they whip out the synthetic urine that's been wrapped around a hand warmer so it meets the temperature requirement. How do I know? My wife works at a laboratory with which they do this, and she finds the wrappers of the hand warmers because they're not allowed to watch people urinate anymore for their drug test. We also have electronic tobacco devices, which we all know that tobacco isn't the only drug that they use for these electronic delivery systems. We have crack pipes. We have kratom. Kratom was banned March 1st. It is illegal to sell kratom and other products similar to kratom in any store in Connecticut. Purchase today, folks, at some of our convenience stores. We have other substances and products that are readily available to youth. There are some restrictions on age. When I interviewed the store operators, not one of them knew that there was a restriction on age. It is written on the package, but it's not clearly written on the package. In tiny little letters, it says 21 or over. And often English is not the primary language of many of these folks. I don't blame them. I'm not putting the full responsibility on the owners and operators, but by a simple ordinance, which would cost no money other than an annual license, I can assure you that I can reduce the likelihood of these products and substances being available to our youth and young adults. And I thank you for your time, and I appreciate the offer for additional time. I have a lot more items, but I don't want to be disrespectful. If anyone wants to view them, come to my office.
Marco, did you use your city credit card to buy those?
And I did contact Nancy in advance and let her know that please don't call the police on me. But
check.
It's all for public health.
And I think, I want to say something, it's very important for the public to know. This is a perfect example of how the city recognizes when issues could be impacting. There's no statistical evidence, but they are hearing the public, but they also recognize that this is for the future population and residents of our community, and they're improving the quality of life. This impacts so much more than just the individuals that use it. It's a total quality of life issue, and I commend the city for that.
Thank you, Marco. Next is Lieutenant Eric Hansen from the Bristol Police Department.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I'm going to start by saying this. There's very few people who are as intelligent, articulate, and most importantly, passionate about what they do than Marco and his team. So if he's reaching his hand out and saying, I'll help, I suggest you take him up on it. I will also tell you, Marco, I will push you out of my way. You are not signing up ahead of me if we have to speak again, because I don't want to follow your act. I'll be brief. With more and more of these facilities open across our city over the past several years, we're getting more and more complaints about sale of tobacco to underage folks, as well as other items that are being sold out of some of these stores. I think it's important, though, to recognize that not all these stores are engaging in this conduct. I don't want to paint with a broad brush. That wouldn't be fair. But we have found that there's instances where folks are selling to people who are underage, as well as selling cannabis and cannabis-related products without the proper licensing. We conducted, I think, 3 compliance checks last year with state agencies. The Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, and I believe Tax and Revenue Services helped us as well. It's really important that we have relationships with those folks, because from a law enforcement standpoint, it's challenging for us to enforce a lot of these laws. These businesses, just like all of us, are entitled to certain protections from search and seizure. Law enforcement can't walk in the door and start flipping through drawers and counters and demanding paperwork. We don't have that sort of authority. These other state agencies do. So oftentimes we have to piggyback on them. And we're fortunate that we can, but the reality is these folks are spread thin. There's cities and towns across the state who are dealing with the same thing. And while they're helpful to us, they can't be here 24/7, which goes back to Marco and his team would be a great asset in helping with that. Lastly, I'll just say this. I kind of view this similar to crime and law enforcement. If someone commits a crime and we can make an arrest or take an enforcement action, that's great. If we can prevent the crime from occurring altogether, that's a true win. So while we can continue to work on enforcement with the state, or hopefully Marco and his team, if we had the ability to limit the number of businesses that were coming in town and would be tempted to violate some of these laws and ordinances, that would really be the best way forward, in my opinion. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, Kyle Macarello, vape shops.
I'm glad he was before me, because Marco was a tough act to follow. Kyle Macarello, real estate manager for the D'Amato family here in Bristol at 10 Main Street. I have prepared remarks, but I'm not going to open it because I know you have a busy agenda and I'll give some of my time to Marco. I am coming at the vapor store issue from a state perspective. D'Amato's own has just mentioned, in his last meeting, quite a bit of property taxes, personal property taxes. We have a lot of properties. We have over a dozen commercial properties. We made a decision not to lease vape stores. Anything that would devalue the properties that we have, the properties that we purchased, the iconic properties here in Bristol that we purchased. So we are supporting a moratorium of any sort on vapors that the council may consider. So that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That concludes the list of people who have signed up. Is there anybody who arrived late and would like to speak on behalf of this or any other issue? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to our consent agenda. We have items A through I. Is there anybody here who would like to pull off anything from the consent agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to Agenda Item 6, we have 3 items from the Real Estate Committee, and we have 6 from the Ordinance Committee. So I'll start with Councilman Hahn.
We'll make a motion to approve that the town clerk publish legal notice of a public hearing to be held by the Real Estate Committee in accordance with CGS Section 7-163E for city-owned properties known as 81 Church Avenue and 135 East Main Street. Said hearing to be held on April 14th, 2026 at 6:30 PM in the City of Bristol Council Chambers, and that the Department of Public Works posts a sign on 81 Church Avenue and 135 East Main Street advising the public hearing.
Second.
Is there a discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, I'm
All
sorry.
right, next one, B. I'd like to make a motion to refer to the Planning Commission the real property known as lots 30-134-1 and 30-134 Riverside Avenue, owned by Riverside Realty LLC, for a CGS Section 824 report, specifically to address if the Bristol Water and Sewer Department should enter into a lease utilizing a portion of the aforementioned lots as additional parking.
Okay, motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. I believe this is the portion of the parking lot that abuts the existing Bristol Water Department parking lot.
That's correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have another motion. I move to direct the purchasing agent to issue an RFP, request for proposals, placing public notices, and to notify abutting property owners of the city's intention to sell city-owned property known as 81 Church Avenue. The asking price shall be $600,000 as determined by the tax assessor and purchasing agent.
Discussion.
This is the, for those that don't know, this is the old firehouse in Forestville,
Engine 3.
Engine 3.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now moving over to the Ordinance Committee. Councilman Dickow.
And make a motion to adopt amendments of the Bristol Code of Ordinance, Chapter 5, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 3, Section 5-22, Requirements for Residential Construction.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to adopt amendments to the Bristol Code of Ordinances, Chapter 41, Streets, Sidewalks, and Public Places, Article 2, Section 21-23, ice and snow to be removed by a budding owner.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt amendments to the Bristol Code of Ordinances, Chapter 21, Streets, Sidewalks, and Public Places, Article 2, Section 21-24-5, removal, obstruction, and snow to eliminate vehicle sightline hazards.
Second. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt amendments to the Bristol Code of Ordinances, Chapter 21, Streets, Sidewalks, and Public Places, Article 2, Section 21-31, illicit discharges and illegal connections.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd also like to make a motion to set a public hearing date and introduce amendments to the Bristol Code of Ordinances, Chapter 17, Peddlers, Solicitors, Canvassers, and Itinerant Vendors, Article 2, Division 1, generally Section 17-16 through 17-50.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I'd like to make a motion to set a public hearing date and introduce amendments to the Bristol Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, Planning, Article 10, Youth Commission, Section 18 through 148 through 18 through 159.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Since we had so much public participation tonight, Councilman Dickow, can you give us a status of where we are with the vaping ordinance?
We are currently in discussions on the vaping ordinance. We are looking at setting some guidelines of that vape shops cannot be within 3,000 feet of each other, and they also cannot be within 1,000 feet of any school or place of worship.
Is there language for a moratorium on new businesses?
No. But we are also looking into actually possibly setting up a yearly licensing fee for the vape shops.
This is still on track to be referred to zoning commission.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and so then, Councilman Tyler, what you were talking about earlier today might be the ordinance component that was referenced with licensure.
Right, I think it was like the dual track. I believe in ordinance, we were still discussing a possible ordinance, but we were given direction that, especially in light of public participation, stressing the emphasis on public health and safety issues here, that maybe the city council could maybe take a transcript of everything that was said tonight and presented tonight and send it back to the zoning commission for reconsideration.
All right, so that will be something that we will.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I know the ordinance committee is working on this. Would it be an idea to maybe have Marco, if he hasn't already given some input, to give some input?
I just want to say after his talk tonight, I'm actually going to email him and get some of the information that he presented tonight so I can have that for our next ordinance committee.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
Yes, I would think that, Mark, that, suggestions in the ordinance should be fortified and particularly taken into consideration, what the D'Amatos are doing, to protect themselves and protect the city. And, maybe make stronger language within the ordinance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Kelly.
Through the chair, would it be appropriate to make that motion to refer it to zoning tonight, straight from city council?
Are you still working on language?
We are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess I could defer to Corporation Counsel.
Well, I really, it's a question for the chairman. If you feel you're at a point where you would want additional input, certainly it would be appropriate to do that. If you want to fine tune what you've got before you send it on, that would be appropriate as well.
I do want to put in some additional information into it and fine tune it.
Okay. I mean, it's certainly up to your discretion.
I mean, I think the point is that we did have a half a dozen people speak tonight. There's also a letter that appeared on the consent agenda from Parks, Recreation, Youth, Community Services, as well as the Best Coalition. So all of that could be packaged and sent.
I also have a letter from the superintendent of schools, Iris White.
Okay, so then we will look forward to doing that referral. Are there any other committee reports that any member of the council would like to bring forward?
We can talk about the library. You were starting an initiative to get people to use the library more and make them aware of all the stuff that they do have besides books. They do have 3D printing and other things to offer the public. So we're trying to make an initiative to get more library cards out there. And also the Youth Commission, we are working on podcasts to get messages out to the youth.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody down here?
I just think with the police commission, I just want to remind everyone that the Honoring Heroes dinner is on March 30th at the Doubletree Restaurant, and you can still get tickets. BristolExchangeClub.org. Mark, am I correct? And you can still get your tickets. It's a great event, and this year they're honoring police, fire, EMT, paramedic, and the cadets.
Cadets.
And the cadets as well.
Dispatcher.
Dispatcher too, yes.
Okay. Anything down here? Committee reports?
No.
Councilman Kelly?
No, I have some announcements.
We do them here.
Okay, fine. I have three brief things to share regarding the Bristol Early Childhood Collaborative. And it's a constant, but it is time to register for kindergarten again. And once again, any child who's registered before the end of the year name is put into a drawing for the potential of having a ride their first day of kindergarten on a fire truck. The next 2 Sundays, March 15th and 22nd, our parent ambassadors are hosting snack and chats in the children's department of the Bristol Public Library at 3 o'clock each day. March 15th will be a dress-up event. March 22nd is about getting ready for kindergarten. And in partnership with the Bristol Public Schools, Bristol Early Childhood Collaborative is hosting a special education advocacy night for families with young children on April 2nd from 6 to 7 at the library. Registration is requested. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, hearing none other committee reports, I'm going to move on to contracts, agenda item 7, and I'll ask that the city clerk read those motions.
To award contract 2C26-016 Page Park Improvements Phase 2 to Yield Industries LLC in the amount of $3,303,000 and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate said contract.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Discussion. This was the subject of a special Board of Finance meeting earlier so that we could amass the necessary money in the appropriate line items in order to move this project forward now and go to bid instead of waiting for July 1st. There's no other discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item, we do have our Human Resources Director here. It is to approve the funding for a tentative agreement reached between the City of Bristol and Local 233 of Council for American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME, for a 3-year contract from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2029. 8.
Was it-
This one says 29. Which one is it, Jim?
Yes,
I'm reading the revised,
revised one.
there's a revised memo. Yes. So is it,
28, 29.
oh, so the revised corrected memo is an error. That, just so we're clear. 28?
And no, it goes through June 30th of 29. It's a
Okay.
3-year.
So,
Or I apologize.
29.
It's not right. Correct. It's a 3-year contract from last June.
so 28.
Yes,
Okay.
I apologize.
It's okay. All right, so I did send this out in advance last week in case anybody had any questions or concerns. I will ask the HR director to answer them. Were there any concerns on this contract? This covers employees that work mostly within City Hall as well as building maintenance, who are both inside and outside workers. You're getting away easy tonight.
It's good. My voice isn't so good, so. All around.
Yeah. All right, hearing no discussion or questions, I will ask for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion, again, none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a resolution, and I will defer back to the city clerk to read this one.
Motion to approve the following resolution. Be it hereby resolved that Ellen Zappo Sasu, Mayor of the City of Bristol, or the Acting Mayor of the City of Bristol, be and hereby is authorized to execute on behalf of the City of Bristol to amend the urban grant contract under the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection with the State of Connecticut for $650,000 for Board of Education multipurpose field and site upgrades. In addition, Ellen Zappo Sasu, Mayor or the Acting Mayor, is hereby authorized to enter into such agreements and contracts and execute all documents necessary to said grant with the State of Connecticut.
Move. Second.
This is a roll call vote.
Oh. Councilmember Dicko?
Yes.
Councilmember Hahn?
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosengren?
Yes.
Councilmember Seymour?
Yes.
Councilmember Tyler?
Yes.
Mayor Ellen?
Yes. Okay, resolution is approved. Moving on to agenda item 9, which is the Public Works Department. There are 2 items. The first is to approve the action recommending the City Council reestablish the Ronzo Road extension as a city street per request from ESPN.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9B is to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to sign any and all documents associated with executing a change order for contract 2C24-042 in the amount of $200,000 with Martin Lavero Contracting, Inc. Said change is to modify the streetscape improvements on North Main Street between the post office and the police department complex in order to provide additional parking.
So moved.
Second.
So discussion for those of you who you had that in your packet, but this is one of our good problem situations where we're looking to set up Building 2 and carrier development for additional parking in advance of the restaurants and the businesses coming in. So there are going to be 19, I think, Ray, 20, 19 additional angled parking spots that will be created there. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'm going to ask the city clerk to handle the first item under old business because I'm going to excuse myself as I believe that I might have written that grant several years ago, so there is a conflict of interest with that. Step over to the side. Greg.
Okay.
Hi.
I'm still here. Okay, I'll accept a motion to approve the proposed extension of the project period for a Neighborhood Assistance Act allocation for Bristol Historical Society from September 30th, 2024 to September 30th, 2025, with an audit due to the city by March 30th, 2026, and to forward this request to the Department of Revenue Services for action.
Second.
Well, okay, so do we have any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Let the record show that I abstained from that vote. Moving on to new business. I had alluded to this previously at the joint meeting. We are moving ahead with our plans to acquire, hopefully, Chippenny Golf Club. The first item on the agenda tonight is to refer to the Planning Commission the real property known as Chippenny Golf Course, lots 64-11, 64-16-1, and 64-1 on Marsh Road for Connecticut General Statutes, Section 8-24 report.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. As many of you know, we are currently waiting on the results of an appraisal, and so this is just another piece of us doing our due diligence. There's no other comments. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And pending everything going well, the next motion is to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to enter into a letter of intent on behalf of the city of Bristol to potentially purchase real property known as Chippenny Golf Course at 116 Marsh Road, Assessors Map 64, Lot 1, and Assessors Map 64, Lot 16-1, with F.W. Blasius Jr. LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. I think it's important for the viewing public to understand that if this were to move forward, this project would be bonded. We would carry whatever the purchase price is on our bonding agenda. This is money that is set aside specifically and used for large-scale projects. It is not money that is available to pave roads or give to the Board of Education or any other uses that we must find a revenue fund in order to do public services. So I'm just trying to get that out there so that we don't start having those conversations about priorities. Is there any other comments or concerns?
Just through the chair, been talking to a lot of people, and they're fairly excited about this, and moving forward and preserving Chippenny and turning it into something for the city to use.
We have a lot of work to do, but I think the short-term thought process is that it would be a municipally owned golf course. It would be a public golf course, and we would hopefully retain elements that are important, especially to that neighborhood and actually our natural environment. So I do think that it's something that is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and something that we are lucky that our debt capacity has positioned us in such a way that we are able to do this if it comes to pass. Any other comments?
Just an additional comment. This is my neighborhood. Chippenny is in my backyard, and all of the neighbors up on Chippens Hill have been ringing my phone off the hook and texting. I think that preserving this and turning it into what could be a highly profitable revenue source for the city of Bristol, all we have to do is look at Westwoods and Farmington or Stanley and New Britain, and they have done a hugely successful job in maintaining a golf course, opening it to the public, and you have to fight to get a reservation to go there. A couple of them have put splash pads in or pickleball courts also to supplement the golf course. But in these other towns, it has become a highly profitable venture. And it's really exciting that possibly we might be able to do the same thing.
And in these very competitive environments for financial resources, I think we do have to think out of the box about how to generate additional revenue for the city. And this, which would probably be a special revenue fund, would have some positive impact. Right now, Chippenny pays about $100,000 a year in property taxes and personal property taxes. And I think it would be very easy to make that revenue up with a well-run public institution. Okay, so thank you for the support as we move forward with this. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this point, I would like to ask that we have a motion to bring a new item onto the agenda concerning the West Cemetery Association.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of introducing a new item under new business?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Hahn, would you please read the motion for me?
Certainly. I move to refer to the Planning Commission pursuant to Connecticut General Statute Section 8-24, the city's potential acquisition of real property as shown on Assessor's Map 59, lots 15, 16A1, 16A2, and 13A, known as Peacedale Cemetery, located on James P. Casey Road, and to provide its report to the City Council. I further move that this matter be considered by Real Estate Committee at its next regularly scheduled meeting on April 6, 2026. I also move that this matter also be considered by the Parks Commission at its next regularly scheduled meeting on March 18th.
Second. Okay, so discussion on this. Many of you are also aware, can you give that to Erica, that we are also in conversation with the West Cemetery Association, which is the nonprofit that we have had managing West Cemetery for a very long time, decades. That cemetery came into existence in, I think, the 1830s. It's the oldest city-owned cemetery. It is still an active cemetery, and they've also added cremains, and they have the Barnes Chapel as well. The city actually owns that cemetery and the chapel that was donated by the Barnes family in the 1930s to honor two of their relatives. We have had a long-term nonprofit management relationship with the West Cemetery Association. They are at the point now where, due to resources and other factors, they do not believe that they can adequately manage the West Cemetery Association and the cemetery grounds. So we are in conversations to take that back. We have been meeting with stakeholders, and there's a series of issues that we have to resolve. This is one of them, because as part of their asset base, they also created Peaceville Cemetery about 45 years ago. And interestingly, the city loaned them the money to do so because they were looking to diversify their financial resources at that point. They've since paid back the loan. West Cemetery owns that cemetery outright, and that would come back to us as well. That would require active management because it is obviously still burial plots are available there. There's also 2 other parcels that are adjacent to the actual cemetery that abut the Roberts property, which is our passive recreation there. So this is another issue where there shall not probably be much financial impact on the city. As many of you are familiar with cemeteries, when you buy a burial plot, you pay into what is called a perpetual care fund. And so those perpetual care funds, which are held in trust, would be transferred as well. There is also a Barnes Family Trust that supports the cemetery, and they also have just a general operating account as well as equipment. So those discussions are ongoing, and we have to have a public meeting with people that are associated with the cemetery and who have loved ones at the cemetery. So that will happen the first week of May, and then we will move forward with this. We have also, as a city, contracted with the West Cemetery Association in order to provide lawn care and overall maintenance to our ancient cemeteries on Lewis, Downs, and Lake Avenue. So we would also have to figure that out as well in order to maintain those cemeteries. But this is just another, one of those public policy pieces that come up that we do have responsibility over, stewardship, and I think it's the right thing to do. And we're just going to be very thoughtful about how we do this so as to not impact the taxpayers, but also enhance the management of these sacred properties. So I believe we have a motion in a second, right?
Yes.
Okay, does anybody have any questions concerning the West Cemetery and Peaceville issue?
Through the chair, when we take it over, who's going to manage it and take care of the one on Peacedale? Because I know that's still operational, yes?
So we would have to structure a employment situation. It's being referred to the Parks Commission because I think that they will have general oversight. They have the equipment, they have the expertise, they have seasonal workers, and they actually mirror a busy season in terms of lawn care and grass cutting and that type of thing. We would probably maintain some relationship with West Cemetery on a short-term basis in order to have some institutional knowledge transfer and then, deal with it that way. We also have the opportunity to contract with St. Joseph's if we actually had to dig a grave.
That's
I
what I
don't see
was-
Josh Maderos digging a grave.
No, that's where I was going with that. I just wanted to make sure we were still with, okay, thank you.
Yeah, there is an active cemetery in District 3, so be prepared. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We've already taken care of agenda item 12 and agenda item 13, so that brings us to 14. If there is any other matters to come before the meeting.
Yeah, I would just like to make a quick motion. With the resignations and appointments, we never said to send letters of thank you. And you did? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it.
No, it's okay.
Human. Apologize.
It's okay.
Thank you.
We did. So, right, Erica? Okay. You have to do. Oh, I forgot. Did you give me something on that? And where? Oh, okay. So, as mentioned earlier in the meeting, we've been very fortunate that Assistant City and Town Clerk Marina Bigos has been covering as the City and Town Clerk. And tonight, I'm sure she's very upset by this, it is her official last night in that role. So we are going to thank her for her service. And do we need a motion? Okay. So we're glad to have you back, Erica. Thank you. You can reclaim your rightful title and role. Thank you. And thank you, Marina. Okay, seeing nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries at 8:31.